I'm a nigga that made music in his mother's basement. Like, so to have people acknowledge my work and acknowledge me is surreal to me. And I think
what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Blades and Bars.
yeah.
Got your boy Rap Nerd Lee.
That's your boy AJ.
It's your boy Fonz.
And we got a special guest in the building today, the one and only RSONIST Heatmakerz fame. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, dear?
What's going on with you?
What's up, baby?
You know what I'm saying?
Crack music.
Heatmakerz.
What you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. Can't complain.
Word. Fresh off two dope albums in my opinion. The El Capo joint and the Gorilla Glue joint. I rock with both of those heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, with that being said, how did you, or what was your thought process in creating the soundscape for both projects?
I mean, they were both different, and it wasn't really like a thought process. It was more like I make music every day, and I'm around Fred and Joel every day, and I'm, for the most part, Jim too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like making music with your friends.
Right.
I make what I personally like. I never try to make a specific record for a specific person. That's not my thing. I make what I like, and in turn, they happen to like it. So both projects was pretty much like that, and El Capo was more of. El Capo been in the works for almost 2 years in the sense of pieces of Wasted Talent, pieces of Diplomatic Ties, random records that me and Jim recorded every night that we just had one verse on and we didn't know what we was gonna do with. So it was a compilation of a group of shit, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it came out dope to me.
Nah, it came out fire. That came out fire.
Classic.
So we were the one that said, all right, yo, we have these one verses, we have these things,
Right.
these songs that could be something.
Right.
We should really do. We should put something together. Like, were you the inspiration behind?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to call it the inspiration, but it was like, nigga, you've been rapping over all these beats. We got to do something with them. Because I think as a creator, the worst thing is to hold on to your own shit and nobody hears it.
Right.
What's the sense of creating? You know what I'm saying? So I used to look at a bunch of these records and I'm like, yo, Jim, we gotta do something with this. And he was like, yo, you know, if everybody know Jim, like, yo, fuck it, man, fuck it, we just gonna make it a Heatmakerz Jim Jones shit. You heard? You know what I'm saying? And then he just did it. We worked out a situation with Empire and off to the races. We got features put on there. Whatever record had a gap in there, we got features put on there like Fab, Rick Ross, Fat Joe, Currency, who else? Conway, Benny, Cam, Fred the Godson. You know what I'm saying? Like we just filled up all the holes on the album.
So the guy Mark.
Mark Scavillian?
Yeah. Can you talk about him real quick, like briefly? How do you find him?
Well, me and Mark were signed to the same publishing company. You know what I'm saying? And I think they had just signed Mark and they brought him by my studio because I was cool, but I'm still cool with the head of Sony Publishing, well, the VP. He brought Mark through and he was like, yo, you know, listen to him, see if y'all can do something together. So me and Mark spoke and he was like, yo, I got a bunch of records that I don't know what to do with that's just sitting in my computer that it's really not the wave that I'm on now, but I want to do something with them. And you know, I sample a bunch of shit, so I'm like, give them to me, I'll flip them around and do some other shit and put you right back on the hook. So a lot of those records, that's what I did. I would take like Pity in the Summer. Mm-hmm. It was a song that he had. So that hook that you hear, that was from an old record that he had. And I took that whole shit, I chopped it up, turned it into some Heatmakerz shit, and then still used his hook. You know what I'm saying? So we just did shit like that. But yeah, Mark is dope. Mark is out of here, man. If you listen to his original shit too, his shit.
I gotta go back and research that.
Nah, his shit is crazy.
Right now, I'm only just. That was like really what I got planned.
Oh yeah, the video for State of the Union just finished getting shot yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
You was.
I wasn't in there. The videos I'm in right now is New York City, which comes out tomorrow at 12 on Tidal. Tidal premieres for a week, then it hits like YouTube and all of that. And I'm in Good Die Young. That should come out like within the next 2 weeks. Then State of the Union is shot, Make No Issues of it is shot. So yeah, we moving, man.
That's dope.
All right, so you know, can I have you read off some of the people you work with? Because I don't want to do it. I'd rather people hear you do it because
people that have been on my records or PDA, because it's different. Like, yeah, like obviously the Diplomats, right? So Joel's, Jim, Cam,
okay, Set,
Lil Wayne. We're gonna start from early. Little Flip.
yeah.
Fat Joe, obviously. Remy.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to. I know I'm being sporadic, but like MOP.
Yeah.
Capone, Noriega.
Cannabis.
Yeah, Cannabis.
Ghostface.
Yeah, Ghostface.
I'm sorry.
No, you got to do that with me. I'll forget myself. Yeah, Joel Ortiz, Fred the Godson. Who?
Beyonce.
Yeah, Beyonce. A song with Beyonce.
Daddy Yankee.
Yeah, Daddy Yankee.
It's a whole suit.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta think, man, because a bunch of people have been on. I've done records with Ross, but it wasn't for Ross's project. Like, he's been featured on stuff. Same thing with Davies. Same thing with Fab.
Anybody you want to work with that you haven't?
Yeah, probably Jay.
You want to work with Jay?
Yeah. Okay. I think that might
Jay,
happen.
can you make that happen, please? Like,
Nah, we're gonna make that happen.
yeah, he gonna body that. He gonna body whatever you do.
For the type of good music, we're gonna make that happen.
Speaking of all the people you just named, like you said, you've been doing this for a minute now.
2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a minute now. So like, as the way the music done
Gucci.
changed.
I'm remembering that I was on Gucci's first album. Go ahead.
Keep going though.
Yeah.
Niggas coming to me one by one.
Now keep stopping us anytime.
Yeah, so with the way music done changed, like, how do you feel about that? I know early in the age, producers for the most, like,
I just don't like a lot of the same shit. I don't care what it is. Like right now, I think certain music has gotten to a point where it's too oversaturated. You know what I mean? Like I don't wanna be in New York and hear Atlanta music when I'm in New York, and I don't want to be in Atlanta and hear New York music. And when I'm in Atlanta, I want to know what Atlanta's known for, and that's what I want to hear, and that's what I do hear when I go out there. But New York became oversaturated with a lot of music that didn't represent us. You know what I'm saying? I don't knock any other place, but I feel like New York needs a feeling, a sound to represent us, and we didn't have that for a minute. And I feel like a fucking superhero because that's what I want to do to the music industry. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring that feel back, that sound back, where people listen and they like, nah, this remind me of my block.
Can I say, you jumped ahead way where I wanted to go with that part, right? So I feel like, let me ask you a question. Do you think when, like, all the artists you named, because I want to know, do you think like Dipset, like all the members of that crew, like give your sound, like your music, your beats, like the best overall sound?
1,000,000%.
Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure. Because
1,000,000%. The reason why I say that is without Dipset, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but a lot of artists wouldn't fuck with my music.
Okay.
Because Dipset paints the picture for them.
Right.
To understand how to handle my type of music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my music might have the vocals going through it and chopped up. And you have to know how to maneuver through that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think Dipset painted the picture for a lot of these other artists. So when they do it, these new artists are like, I can fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? But without that, it's kind of like.
So they have the blueprint for
right.
how to rap over here.
And I think that helped us a lot because when I came into the game, my music wasn't perfect. Meaning like. I didn't play instruments. I didn't know keys and this, that, and the third. So my music might have sounded rough around the edges, but so did their lyrics and vocals. So it matched. It was perfect. It was like a perfect marriage that was put together. And I think that's why it worked because we were both kind of like whatever goes. You know what I'm saying? And fuck it, we gonna make it work.
Right.
As opposed to like aiming for precision.
Right.
It was about the feel, and we created the feel for people.
You did. Yeah. I mean. That project that Jim just put out, Jim put out, I felt like 2003, 2002, like I felt, like you said.
It's the feel, like the music, to me the music doesn't sound the same as far as like, it's the same feel.
Yeah, the feel. I felt that.
Right, and to me that's the goal, because like that's what music is about.
Right.
Like right now, if somebody puts on some fucking New Edition, I'm gonna feel like when I was 6 years old again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I went back to being in high school.
It's just the feeling.
18-year-old kid.
Right.
It's
It's just
just an album. I was like, yo.
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I need that.
Listen to Travel. I feel like paid in full. I'm gonna get my bucket hat. You feel me?
Yeah, it was a good.
You know what I mean? Like,
Like it was like it didn't. I think what was great about it, in my opinion, was that it didn't feel dated, but it was a familiar sound, but it was updated. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, the nigga Jim told me in the studio when we started making the album, he said, yo, we not gonna do no old shit. Nigga said, I don't even want you wearing Old Spice around me, nigga. He said, if you wear Old Spice deodorant, nigga, take that shit off.
Old Spice.
We going for a whole new wave, a whole new feel, but with the same formula. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
y'all won with that.
like I feel like
Phil
my
Jackson.
music progressed over the years as far as like it age doesn't sound like it sounded in 2003, but you know it's the same nigga.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
Heatmakerz.
And when
Crack music. Listen, let me tell you something. You have a very, very soulful. Anybody ever tell you like yo, you too, like when you was younger, like yo, you like too old for your age? Anybody ever tell you that? Cause you got a real soulful sound, bro. Like,
you know what people
like you
used
an
to tell
old
me?
man, but in
People
a
used to
young
just
body.
tell me that, like, and even friends that I know, like, they don't get reaction out of me. Like, I'm even keel about a lot of shit. It takes a lot to get me excited.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, somebody can tell me they got 2 million for me. I'm not excited until
2 million.
it's in my hands or in my account. Or, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't get excited for shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it goes along with having an old soul or feeling a certain way, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel that.
Nah, we good.
We're gonna edit. But I got a nerd question for you, because like I care about nerd things.
Yeah.
When you are creating, like what feeling, like do you keep it traditional? Do you like go digging in the crate, so to speak, or do you just find random samples to flip? Like how does that? What's that process like?
I find random shit. Like my whole process is sporadic.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been the typical sampler or dude that, like, you know how people that sample a lot care about their records and
Yeah, for sure.
And this used to get me in trouble before when I was younger. People, like, record collectors hated me when I said shit like this, but I just needed what I got off of that record and I was good. I didn't care about the record. I didn't care about collecting it, keeping it in the sleeve. Like, if you went into my basement in the Bronx when I was first making beats, it was just records out of sleeves on the floor, stacked up halfway to the ceiling. People walking on records, stepping over shit. I didn't really care, man. I just wanted the end result. You know what I mean? That's all I cared about. I didn't care about, nothing really holds that much value to me. No materialistic object. I'm not that type of person.
Okay.
Like, I don't have shit that's sentimental to me.
Right.
So I don't treat records like that. At the end of the day, it's music, it's a feel, it's a vibe that I'm trying to create. I don't care about the shit that it's on. Nowadays, you can fucking download everything offline anyway. So the physical product don't mean shit to me.
No more. It doesn't hold the same weight as it do. I mean, unless it's like, collectible or like, you
but
know.
like most folks do
Yeah,
that for the
but
feel. You know
what makes something collectible? Because they made a couple copies of it?
No, I'm with you.
No, but I just look at everything like that. Unless the only time something is sentimental to me is if, like, somebody that passed away gave me something that I have, and then it's a bigger meaning behind it.
Right.
Right.
But to buy something from a store and then hold on to it and be like, yo, this is,
Right.
Vintage.
yeah, I'm not doing that. I can't do that.
But speaking about the Bronx, like when you were growing up, what was the prevalent sound in your neighborhood?
Yeah, that made you.
Reggae music. I grew up in the Bronx and on the Jamaican side of the Bronx.
You Jamaican, right?
Yeah, I'm Jamaican, yeah, 100%. So
And,
it was reggae music. It was, what type of, growing up in the Bronx was like, that was like the early 90s for me, as far as like, from what I could really remember, late 80s, early 90s. So you're talking about like, what was popping around that time?
Like Mad Lion and all that?
Yeah, but Mad Lion was a little bit later on. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking even about hip hop, who was popping around that time, 89, 90.
Well, like Kane and all that.
Yeah, like, so, but I wasn't, to be honest with you, I didn't get into hip hop until about 93, 93, 94, like around the Wu-Tang era.
Right, so like Wu-Tang.
That's when I really started DJing and got into music and shit like that. So, everything before, that's why I'm not like a hip-hop historian. People that be like, I remember this group or buying this. I would listen to reggae music.
Okay.
That's my family. My family was into that, like Barris and you know what I'm saying, like Barris, Garnet, Silk. That's what type of shit I was listening to around that time.
I can do it.
Yo, so coming from the Bronx to where you at now, you ever look back and it's still surreal to you? Like you said, everything started in the basement.
Nah, because I still feel the same exact way. You know what I mean? Like I don't look at the things that I've achieved as like
success.
Right, because success is something different. I'm gonna explain that to you before we finish, but I don't look at the things that I've done as like yo, he made it, or I'm surviving on a different level. I got a different work ethic, and that's why I've gotten some of the things that I've gotten over time, because I just try to outwork people. That's it. Like again, I'm not a musician. I don't play any instruments. But repetition makes perfection.
Absolutely.
So I do the same thing, not the same thing, but musically. I come in and I work day after day, non-stop until I get better. You know what I'm saying? And that's really my formula. Some people try to make some shit up, that's all it is. I just outwork people.
Gotcha.
So like with the people that you try to outwork, do you feel like there's room for contemporaries? Like do you hear certain production styles like, oh, that's crazy?
All the time, of course. Like I would be I'd be vain if I just said my shit is there. Nah, of course. There's a bunch of people that's dope to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like when people do what they do. Right. I don't like when somebody tries to sound like this, or because this is the sound that's popping, let me use this or let me do that. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So other than that, I'm a fan of a bunch of producers that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. All the producers that were different are still around and they won. From the Timberlands to the Swiss to the Neptunes to if you're different, you stand a chance to survive. But when you try to sound like everybody else, you fade away.
Right,
that's true.
I get you.
So,
speaking of other producers, I know before, based on a lot of y'all used to be together, playing music around. Does that still happen? You know what I mean? I know things change now.
Nah. Yeah, because you know what it is too, man. And I don't know if this is the reason, but a lot of producers nowadays, I don't think they're as confident in their music. I think producers are just trying to get on albums now. It's not about the quality of their production anymore. As long as they can get on the project, they're happy.
So like placement matters.
So now, like if a producer comes in the studio to play beats with a bunch of other producers, his confidence level is low because he didn't make it for that purpose. He just wants to get on this album, to make the beat good enough to get on this album. Me personally, I want my music to stand on its own. You take the artist over there and you listen to that shit and it's like, nah, this shit's fire. A lot of producers, they're not aiming for that. They just aiming to get the right melody going to get this artist to like it and to sell it to him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, that does feel soulless. I mean, cause I don't even see like beat tapes anymore, like how I used to when I was a kid. Like it'd be like,
but nowadays, you know everything is streams. You know everything. Everybody's streaming.
Oh no, not like actual tapes, but I mean like someone would drop like an actual like instrumental album, and then it'd be like.
To be honest with you, that's like labels are looking for people to do that now because that's their money maker. Okay. Because think about it, if you stream and you're an artist and you're listening to an instrumental, you got to stream it at least 15 to 20 times before you finish writing the whole shit, so you're good. You know what I'm saying? But with a song, you can listen to it 1-2 times and you're done.
Right.
When you're writing to this shit, it's 15 times, you're like, oh shit, I got the first verse. I gotta listen to another 20 times. I got the hook. I gotta listen to another 20 times. I got the second verse.
I didn't think about it like that. That's deep.
When you got 12 of them shits on the tape, you're gonna make some bread. But for me,
look at that.
For me, I just like to keep my shit exclusive to a certain degree, man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do that eventually. But for now, it's like, I don't want to do it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
not right now.
So have there been other producers like you reached out and hit like, yo, listen to this, is it dope, or you just I
don't want to sound like that. And trust me, don't take this the wrong way. I don't care what any other producer think about the music I made, because I made it. I know how I feel about it.
That's all that matters.
You understand? Like,
no
matter what you're doing, like, there has to come a certain point in point in time where you trust your own judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you looking for other niggas' validation all the time, you ain't never gonna do shit.
That's true.
My thing is, if I like it, I've been in the game long enough to know the shit that I like usually works. So I'm gonna stick with that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Not saying that I'm not open for outside opinion, but I don't seek outside opinion.
Right.
I don't go searching for it. If somebody gives it to me, it's all good. I don't have no problem with that. But I'm not gonna base the reason I'm gonna put this out based on you or somebody else. I'm not doing that.
I'm ready. Where you make that? Where did you make that record?
My mother's basement.
Talk about that. Talk me through you creating that song that would take you to the next level.
I mean, I didn't know I was creating it at the time, but I just knew it felt different from anything else I ever heard before. I went to a record store, like I normally do, to go buy records around that time. And the first record I picked up was a Barbara Mason record, and as soon as I put the needle on the turntable, it landed on that spot. I'm ready, I'm like, and I sped it up, I put it on 45, and I'm like, yo, this shit sounds insane. I didn't even buy nothing else, I just bought that and went straight back to the crib. And I made that beat in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I listened to that shit for 2 hours on repeat. I'm like, yo, this shit sounds insane. But I didn't know who could rap on that shit because the beat was different.
Yeah.
But I just knew I liked listening to it. So I think I didn't get rid of that beat until about a year after I made it. Because it actually belonged to another artist at the time. And when it came time to get paid for it from the label, they were dragging their feet. And then Dipset, I met Dipset around that time, and I played him that beat, and that was the first joint they recorded to.
Talk to me, how do you meet Dipset to give them that?
Well, actually, the crazy part about it is there was a dude by the name of Renee McLean. He used to manage Camp at the time, but he also used to do radio promo. So we had some artists, me and my homeboys had some artists that we were trying to get promo on. We brought them to Renee McLean, or we brought the music to Renee McLean. He was like, yo, what y'all do? I was like, yo, produce. So he was like, yo, you got music? I had a CD on him, gave him the CD. Get a call back like about a week later from Cam. He said, come to Baseline. But I was in North Carolina at the time. He was like, you come to Baseline. Me and my people come back up to New York, we go to Baseline. I gave him the CD, had about 20 beats on there. Out of the 20 beats, 9 of them made Diplomatic Immunity.
You had 11 overall.
I had 11, so I did an extra 2 after that. So to answer your question, I'm Ready was one of those 9 beats. So I had heaters. Like I'm talking about, I made beats from 10 in the morning till 11, 12 at night every day for like about, and I'm not lying to you, every day for about a year and a half. I was just trying to get better and better and just working and wake up, do that shit, go to sleep, do it like every day, all day. It was a different type of grind, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say what I say now. I don't really need nobody's validation. I put in my hours, I can validate myself at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely at this point. Sitting here thinking, when I get even older, all my throwbacks come around.
Word.
Feel me? Like,
That's what I'm
See,
saying.
I'm just trying to create that for a next wave of people
Okay.
that didn't understand the first run. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, you cannot not understand what I just did with Jim. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a great project. And I don't talk about my work like that, but it's a great body of work.
Well, from start to finish. Start to finish. If you don't like at least 5 to 6 songs on there, you just don't like music. I don't care what you say.
That's how I feel about that too.
So, my favorite song on that is My Era. That's my joint.
My Era?
Yeah, that's my favorite joint.
My Era's dope.
When creating that joint, like, did Jim do that one verse and it was just like,
Yeah, that was one of the one verses that was just sitting there.
and did you like, we gotta get Mano for that? Like, how did he get
Nah,
that?
Jim hit me when we started to tie shit together. Jim hit me. He was like, "Yo, we gotta figure out who we gonna put on what." So he was like, "I gotta get Mano on the record. Send me some records, and we can put them on." And that was one of the ones I sent him.
Nah, he bought Mano bought that.
yeah,
So he sent him like 3 options, and that was the one he jumped on.
some crazy, video crazy.
Yeah, it was tough.
But joints like that, how does the studio session with Jim go? Like
chaotic. Chaotic in the sense of, you gotta understand, like, Jim don't really move by no specific rules.
I like it.
So Jim will show up at like 2 a.m. for a studio session that he said he'll be here at 11. He'll show up at 2, and then we'll work till about, let's say 2 to 5:30, right? So then 5:30 will come, he's supposed to leave. He'll be like, yo, pull up a beat, let me just put a verse down real quick. And that's how El Capo got made, was between like 5:30 and 6, those hours.
5:30 and 6.
Yeah, like those little extra verses.
You recorded here?
In my old spot, I moved here in February.
Okay.
We recorded, only song we recorded here for El Capo was Pity in the Summer, recorded Cam and Fred's verse here, but Jim had did his verse from my old spot.
Gotcha.
How do you feel about doing the rhythm of that? Like, was that like a fun
No,
exercise?
I gotta do that over.
Okay, yeah, that was.
I gotta do it over because that was around the time that, it's a long story, man, I don't really want to waste time talking about, but I gotta do it with my own vibe on there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't have another nigga be a part of what I'm trying to give a nigga, you know what I mean? That type of soul, that feeling, it's like, some people don't get it.
Right.
So I'll just leave it at that, but.
I got something that's really
fair.
like that I want to ask you a question because I feel like you are somewhat of the glue to Dipset, and let me explain. So, you know, Jim, Cam, they had an issue, right?
Right.
And I feel like the music is what really ultimately keeps them together, right? So they have an issue, and then they get the issue resolved.
And years of being brothers.
Yeah.
I think that kind of supersedes it.
We talked about that
Yeah.
earlier, right? When you got family and you're doing business.
Like my
friends.
thing is, if you never argue with your friend, that ain't your friend.
That's a fact.
You understand? Like,
Yeah.
if you agree on everything, one of y'all is being fake to the other.
That's a fact.
So I think that kind of sums up everything. Like, they're real friends. You know what I'm saying? Friends gonna have problems,
100%.
and real friends figure it out. So you know.
yeah, that was brilliant for the hip hop. Period. When they
No.
got back together.
So, Once Upon a Time pops up.
Yeah.
You create that.
Right.
Can you talk to me about that being created in the studio after whatever they had, an issue that they had, they was able to.
So you gotta know the timeline of how certain things happen. Okay, like with Once Upon a Time, that was initially for Jim for Wasted Talent,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
No, but meaning without Ken, like just a Jim record for Wasted Talent.
Right.
But I wasn't even supposed to be on Wasted Talent because me and Jim pretty much were in the same studio every day, which was my old studio, but he was on the B side and I was on the A side. We didn't see each other for like we might have seen each other in passing, but for a couple of years we didn't really do no work. So Fred comes to me one day and Fred is like, yo, Jim played me some of his album that he got to kind of sound fire. And I'm like, word? And something inside of me was like, damn, man, I gotta get on this album, man. This would be kind of crazy. Jim put an album out, got shit on there. So I saw Jim, I sat with him, I'm like, yo, play me the album real quick, you play me some shit. And I was like, yo, let me send you something. He's like, yo, alright. That night, or the next day, I think, I made Once Upon a Time, I sent it to him. And I didn't even know if he fucked with it or not. I just see, he put some shit up on the ground with him rhyming to it in the studio. And that's the first time I seen it. I'm like, okay, he fucked with it. Then he was like, yo, Spotify wants us to do this show with da-da-da-da-da. We thinking about doing a Dipset album. He said, yo, I'm gonna put Cam on this record. I'm like, alright, bet. He said, I'm gonna put Joel's on there too. I'm like, alright, cool, send it to Cam, send it to Joel's. Cam sent his verse back. And Joel's had recorded a verse, but I don't know what happened, why it didn't end up on the album or end up on the record, but all of them had verses to that record. And then because of timing, it just ended up on Wasted Talent because it made more sense at the time because the Dipset album was so far out, you know what I'm saying? But that record wasn't meant to be like, it just happened to be like a reunion record, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't meant to be that. It was meant to be just a record for Jim for Wasted Talent, but it turned out dope.
Turned out to be a reunion record that just went crazy because
the people's missing that sound. I think when they heard it, it felt authentic to them, and it was like a new feel to hip hop at the time, or to rap music at the time. It didn't feel like anything else that was going on when it came out.
Like, to me, it felt like it was current vintage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was here last week. He's working on the program too. Jim, all our sessions we do together. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool.
What do you feel is next? Like as far as musically, like do you think that there's another trend that's gonna happen, or do you think it's gonna revert to a certain
I mean,
space?
it's always gonna be another trend, but I just feel like music, the tempo of music is changing right in front of us right now.
That's
You
why
know what I'm saying? As far as like, we had years, I'm talking about, let's say late 90s to like 2004, 2005, 2006, around that era, we had years of just like hip hop soul music. Then that died down. And you had the era of trap that came in and all that shit. And whether people want to believe it or not, that has to die.
It will die.
Right, you understand? So like anything else, it's like that's gonna die, and then something has to take its place. And there has to be somebody in charge of making the sound that's gonna take that place. So that's what we all fighting for. As producers, that's what we all fight for if you're a creator.
Right.
Not if you're somebody that tries to copy what's been happening, but if you're a creator, you fight to make that new shit that's gonna change the tempo of music now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That makes sense. I mean, like even like outside of rap, when I was growing up listening to different types of music, I realized that happened like with jazz. You know what I mean? Like Miles Davis, Coltrane changed how music literally sounded.
1,000,000%.
So to see that happen with producers now is like it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, but you see it. It's like you remember when people first started sampling, like they sampled like might have been 4-bar loops, 2-bar loops.
Right.
Then it got to the point where you ran into somebody like Premier that chopped this shit up into 15 pieces and played it like an instrument.
Right.
So it's different eras of this shit and different styles. Things are always going to get added to something. You know what I'm saying? So that's the era we in now. Is like, how do you add to what's going on?
Right.
And I think that's what we all trying to figure out. But me personally, that's what as a producer, that's what I want to figure out.
Speaking of that real quick, you think sampling is dead, so to speak?
It's not. The problem is people don't know what to categorize as a sample. A lot of these shits that you listen to, even in trap records, there's a bunch of samples.
Super.
Okay, got you.
But people think sampling is just you hear the voices and no, but there's a bunch of sampling. Sampling is when you take a piece of another nigga's record.
Got you, right.
80% of the niggas in the industry do that shit.
Okay, they're not creating from...
A few niggas are. The real simple beats you hear with one piano note and a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Those type of shit, they not sampling, of course. But a lot of the shit you hear is sample shit, you just don't know it's a sample.
Right. Okay. How do you feel about live instrumentation, like on records?
Yeah, that's dope. All that shit is dope. It just gotta make sense. Some people do it for no reason, just to do it. But it's dope when it's done correctly. You know what I'm saying?
When you sample, you don't get paid as much for the beat because you...
It depends.
Okay.
It depends. I had a situation when I was doing the Dipset album. The dude that owned a certain catalog, I sampled a bunch of his shit. He reached out to me, I met up with him, he gave me his whole fucking catalog, said sample whatever you want, I'm only gonna charge you this amount per record. That shit was unheard of.
Yeah, it's dope.
You know what I mean? Like he was like, yo, I only want 10% of whatever you sample. So that means I kept 40%, that shit was unheard of. Yeah, but we were all friends.
So what happened?
Life, business.
Get the business right.
That sums up everything. Without getting into life and business happen, you know what I mean? Like, you grow apart from people, you change. Some people stay business minded, some people don't. Some people have different aspirations and goals, and some people have other aspirations and goals. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they don't match. And, you know, we end up where we end up.
Okay.
You end up where you
So it's more like y'all still cool, y'all do business together?
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
You can say that for, you know,
Camera.
for the camera.
Got you. So, quick, just to piggyback on that. So, the three of y'all came up with the Heatmakerz, right? Or was it a different
Actually,
name?
somebody else came up with the Heatmakerz, and we took the name because that dude had robbed us for some money at the time, as far as like, you know, bad paperwork and saying he got this when he really got this. So we remembered he said the name, and we liked the name, so we got it incorporated.
Got you. So, you still use it,
Yeah,
but the other guys aren't part
because
of...
they don't make music.
Got you.
I mean, they can use it. What you gonna use it for?
No, I got you. I'm just making
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? If you don't make music, you can use it for whatever the fuck you want to use it for. If you don't make music, what's the sense? I really make music.
speaking of bad deals, also, like, I know it's a learning process. Did you learn quickly about, I know sometimes how game is dirty can be, how dirty game can be?
I learn every day.
It's a dirty game, man. It's even
I'm still learning. I learn every day. Like, this shit don't stop. You don't learn that it just stops.
Right.
People do different shit in different ways. People get creative, man. They get creative on ways to rob you out of shit or try to rob you out of shit.
Wow.
You just gotta stay on your toes and really pay attention. And not everybody's your peoples, you know what I mean? And I'm just saying that generally. That has nothing to do with what we was talking about before, but not everybody's your peoples, you know what I'm saying? Like, this music game, you'll have a bunch of friends when you're winning. And you know the opposite side of that. So we don't really gotta talk about that, but that's essentially what it is. Everybody's your friend when you've got something to offer.
Definitely a minimum.
Let me tell you what's crazy, and it still bugs me out when, because I don't believe that I have any type of fans, right? Like, in my brain, it's like, it's not believable to me. So like, if somebody walks up on, yo, let me get you a picture or autograph or whatever, like a dude came from Germany and came here, the dude was like, he came with his girl, he said, yo, I met my girl, which is his wife now, at my first Dipset concert in Germany. He said, that was our first date, he said. So the nigga, when he met me, the nigga was like, yo, bro, my heart is racing, man. He said, I can't believe it. And I'm like, in my head, that it don't make sense to me. You don't understand, like, I'm a nigga that made music in his mother's basement. Like, so to have people acknowledge my work and acknowledge me is surreal to me. And I think the day that it gets real, I don't want to do this shit no more. You understand? Like,
absolutely, totally.
It's felt this way to me for like 15 years, 16 years. You understand? Like, so, I don't know, man. It's a bugged out feeling to hear people say certain shit like, I'm a fan of this or a fan of, it still can't sink in with me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it ever really will.
I have to say, for me personally, you and the music you created, it like shaped my image, my attitude,
all that,
everything.
All
but
that.
as they say, you know,
you can attest to that.
as they say, I'm a bully.
he Jim Jones, yo. Like, he really, like, yo, I have to tell him, like, yo, calm down. Like,
that's
you got the business side of it. You're like, nah, forget the business. I'm like, yo, don't mess up the business. Like, you know what's crazy?
The funny part about, not even funny, but I guess you could call it ironic, weird, whatever. That's really how I feel when I'm making the music. Like, man, fuck these niggas, man. Like, I make up a personal vendetta that niggas that probably don't even think about me. I make up some shit in my head like, nah, this nigga trying to take my spot, this nigga trying to do this, nigga, and they probably don't even think about me.
That's me.
But I need that to fuel me to get better.
So that's like Jordan and Kobe out there.
It's like, I need that. I need to feel like it's me against them. Whoever the fuck them is, I need that feeling.
They are.
I made El Capo with that feeling in my mind. Like, nigga, it's me against all those niggas that feel like I'm washed up. All of them. Whoever them niggas are, it's for them niggas.
Well, he's proved that point.
I feel sorry for them niggas.
That's a fact. It's too many times where, you know, again, personally, the craziest Jim song comes on and it's like, it's go time. You know what I mean? Because I just hear the beats and I hear the lyrics. I'm just like, yo, what are you looking at? Why are you looking at?
That's a fact.
Why are you looking at?
No, but that's the energy behind the music, man. I think a lot of times it's like, and I mean, Jim ain't here, but I feel like Jim had to feel that way too. Like, yo, it's all these niggas acting like I don't get busy.
Right.
Like, Jim get busy, nigga. Regardless of what niggas wanted to say last year or the year before that or the year before that.
No, you been getting busy.
If you try to front now and say Jim don't get busy,
Right.
You're a liar.
you are a pathological hater.
Exactly.
You know what I'm trying to tell you? Like, right now, you can't say that now.
Right.
Yo,
Nigga, I listen to all types of music. I'm not saying that because I'm around Jim. I listen to all types of shit.
Right.
Not just rap. I listen to all types of shit, so I know good music.
Right. Same here.
You cannot tell me Jim Jones ain't nice now. Nigga, like,
say that again.
Wait. I got a question for you. I got a question. So check this out. You started working with Jim back during Diplomatic Community.
Wow.
Well, before that.
Well,
it did like it, yeah.
right? Okay. The Jim from then to now, right?
Right.
You think he would be the hottest member out of Dipset when he first started? to this point? Because no, I don't care what nobody say. He is the hottest member out of Dipset. Like he is the one that no matter what you do or say, he's the hottest member out of the crew. And he didn't start out.
He's the most active right now. Listen, no, but understand what I'm saying.
So we know who. To me,
the reason why people can say that is because he's the most active.
Correct.
If Cam was as active as Jim and putting up as many visuals as Jim and doing what Cam do, people would say the same shit about Cam. It's just that Cam has his hand in a bunch of different pots, doing different shit, acting, movie shit, this shit, that shit. So when Cam focus on music, he focus on it, then he dip out and do some other shit and come back to it. Gotcha. Jim has been focused on music 24/7 for the last, call it 2 years.
Do you feel as though he has something to prove?
Of course, and like I was telling you before, it's like we feel the same way. I know he has to feel the same way I feel. I feel like I have something to prove.
Right.
Because there's a bunch of niggas that jumped in trying to sound like me, and I feel like I have to prove, like, nigga, you can't do that. Like, I really do this, nigga. Y'all niggas just trying to imitate my shit.
Right.
Like I had a nigga on the gram hit me and tried to tell me that I stole a sample off of El Capo from him.
No.
And I had to hit the nigga, you know, I don't even talk like this. Nigga, I had to hit the nigga, I say, yo, you do know I'm the reason why you sample, right, nigga? You know that, right? Like, you know I'm the reason why you speed your shit up like that and do all that little silly shit and try to, that's me, nigga. What I look like stealing from you, nigga? Who are you? So you understand, like, no, I just mean, I have to tell him that, not to be on no cocky, arrogant shit, but that's not the way to get into this shit. Right. Accusing niggas, like, I never have to steal from nobody.
I've seen that happen now, like
I've made
pretty rare, you know what I'm saying?
thousands of beats. Niggas don't understand, like, look at the albums I've been on, right? Diplomatic Community, 11, Joel Santana, 12. I was doing bodies of work then.
Right.
Why the fuck I gotta steal from a nigga? You think I ain't creative enough to make my own shit?
Right.
Niggas is bugging. So, I'm just saying all that to say, the shit is nasty out here, man. These niggas is really on some, niggas is on some sucker shit when they see you making a wave.
Right. They want to get a fake
again, to piggyback on what you said, I've been telling everybody for the longest, Jim is in my top 5 for a reason. People look at me crazy. Jim, bro, he's number 2 behind Pop. Jim is top 5. I tell people that energy, that aggression,
it's that feel.
That and
like people don't understand. They was saying, "Yo, I know Jim got writers," and I'm like, "Do you understand?" No, like niggas was saying because he had a song with Fred. They said, "Yo, I know Fred writing for." I'm like, "Do you understand how a Jim session goes?" Jim will come in, I'll put the beat on. Jim will get on the couch, smoke a blunt, probably fall asleep for 20 minutes, and wake up and be like, "Yo, you ready?" And go in the booth and don't write nothing.
You know what's so crazy? I forgot the producer's name. A producer told us a story how he had a beat for Jim. He's sitting there watching him and listening to the beat. He said Jim fell asleep, and he was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna leave." He was like, "Dude told me, yo, don't leave." He's like, "No, you don't fell asleep with my shit." She's like, "Nah, he's working." He said, and 15 minutes later, Jim started mumbling while he was asleep. He said, and then Jim just wrote it. He said,
"You just get up and go in the booth." Off of that, off of memory. So when niggas talk about all that shit, so that whole El Capo was him smoking a blunt, falling asleep, and going in the booth and giving you that. So you gotta give him something. You know what I mean?
Respect my guy, man.
He's a talent like that.
Respect my guy.
I can't rap though.
My man Capo, man.
Yo, I mean, honestly, and I tell people this all the time. I still listen to On My Way to Church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that album.
And when that, just to hear from that point to this point, it was like, yo, nah, Jim still got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I can't ask you no more from you, man. Listen.
So, yo, man, I think we
covered it.
Yeah, I think
we
so.
covered it, man.
So I definitely want to thank you again for sitting down with us and chopping it up with us. Have plays and bars, and we definitely appreciate it. And whenever you want to,
send me the video clip. We're not very.
I thought it was exclusive.
It's kind of exclusive, but I used to do these sessions when I was in the studio making beats, and my man would film me from scratch, like finding samples, shit like that. So we just did our first one in like a year and a half, and he just sent me the clip. I gotta watch it, so when we finish, I gotta watch it.
Always works.
Always. So like whenever you wanna invite us back again. We're free. We don't do nothing. You know what I mean? I work in the mornings now, so it's lit. You know what I'm saying?
I go at 5.
Yeah, we got the weed smoke now. We good money.
All right. So for Blazing Bars, this is your boy Rappner Lee.
It's your boy AJ.
Man, it's your boy Funds.
Take us out, man.
Heatmakerz, crack music. Holla at your boy Arsonist.
And